You want to know what jealousy looks like when it stops pretending to be love? It looks like me staring at a gas station counter because I'm not allowed to raise my eyes and look at the man behind it. It looks like my glasses being twisted and snapped into two pieces for looking at another man on the street corner. That's where we're going today. Jealousy. Chapter 4 is about jealousy. Now, before we dive in, do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe, and if this story matters to you, or you want to hear the rest, grab my book with the link in the description. It's called Free Memoirs of an Abused Woman, and this isn't entertainment. This is survival. So by 6 months in, probably, maybe 9, his jealousy wasn't cute and sweet anymore. It was a job. It was a religion. It was a rule book with consequences. I couldn't make eye contact with the guy behind the counter. I couldn't smile. I couldn't glance at someone walking down the sidewalk. If I took too long at the register, that meant that I wanted to stand near that man. That meant that I was a whore. His word. Over and over. He would call me a whore. And, you don't know how small your life can get until every blink, every laugh, and every second of your life is evidence against you. One night, we were at his friend's house in Altizer, in the garage. Music was loud, people were everywhere. They had this old pull-up bar bolted to the frame. And this one guy, one of his friends, started showing off, hanging from the bar, flexing and being stupid and gorgeous all at the same time. And he said something really funny, and the whole room laughed. I laughed. And the second that sound left my mouth, I felt his eyes. And that look, the one that means you're in trouble. He motioned for me to walk outside, and I didn't want to, but I did because I knew it was going to get worse, if I didn't. So outside, he pushes me up against the side of the garage, puts his hand on my throat, and he's whispering, "You better never laugh at him again unless you want him to think you want to fuck him. And if that's the case, I'll beat both your asses." I remember, the cold of the wall through my shirt, and that shame burning hotter in his fingers. And, and then he squeezed my chin like I'm a child and pulled me close, and he said, "Nobody else better know you're upset." And he walked back inside like nothing happened. And I had to too. I had to walk back inside like I still didn't have his thumbprint bruising my neck. Everybody knew, but nobody said a word. But that's how the world works. Jealousy wasn't episodes. It was like air. Like, he policed my eyes. Look at the counter, not at the clerk. He policed my mouth. I couldn't smile at anyone. I couldn't even smile at his brother. He policed my time. He would tell me, "I've got 10 minutes to go get 20 items scattered all over Walmart and check out." Like, 10 minutes. And if it took 11, he wanted to know who I was sucking off in there. He never wanted to go inside anywhere. He wanted to sit in the car and wait. And then he would tell himself a story when I got back, and we would fight. We stopped at a light by Marshall one time, and I saw this girl running down the sidewalk wearing tight pants, sports bra, ponytail swinging. She's got her headphones in, and She's just freedom on two legs, you know. She's got tunnel vision, and for a second, I was living vicariously through her. He followed my focus, but he didn't see her. No, he saw the two guys on the corner and insisted that that's who I was looking at, and convinced himself that I was watching them. He yanked my glasses off my face and bent them, and said, well, now you can't see them. Later on, I tried straightening up the frames so I could wear them, because I was pretty blind. And when he caught me, he took them from me, threw them on the ground, stomped on them, picked them up, snapped them in two. And he said, if you're going to look at other men, I'll make sure you can't see them. You know, you don't realize how much of the world is like just 5 feet away from you until that's all you can see. It's very hard to adapt to that. One time, he gave me a promise ring. It was pink ice and heart-shaped, and I wore it proudly. I thought, surely he won't pawn this one, you know, like he did my grandmother's ring and my mother's ring. But one day, I wanted to go see my friend Jamie. She had just had a baby, and after, you know, pretty much begging for several minutes, he said, fine, you can go, but I'm taking my ring back. I was kind of confused, but I handed it over and asked when I would get it back, and he told me when I deserved it. Oh, great, there goes that. So I ended up telling Jamie I was getting it sized, and which didn't make any sense because I had already told her that I wanted to show it to her. But, you know, she caught on, but she didn't say anything. Anyway, David told me I had an hour, but he came back in 30 minutes instead. You know, because I couldn't do anything without him. One night, I was working at Bob Evans, and he would always park in the parking lot where I could see him from the window, if he wasn't already sitting out there all evening. Except this one night, I was closing. There was 2 men left inside. One was a manager in his 50s, and the other was a guy that was close to my age. The room felt like a trap, whether it was or not, you know, but I was a nervous wreck sitting there with these 2 men. I waited for an hour, looking out the window like every 2 to 3 minutes. No car. So I ended up calling a cab, and I went to his mom's. Well, I sat there for about an hour, and finally he burst in screaming, where the fuck were you? And I'm like, well, where the fuck were you? You know, and his mom is, you know, backing me up and saying that I've already been here for an hour, and then I took a cab, and he told me that he was parked behind the building and he had fallen asleep in the car, and that I should have checked the whole parking lot before I wasted money on calling a cab. I could never do anything right. I know that my own car was not in that parking lot when I got in that cab. I'd been looking for it for an hour. So anyway, we get in the car, and we're headed back to our place. We lived in Proctorville. We're turning left onto Route 60 from Roby Road, and I said, you just should have been there. You should have been there where I could see you. Well, that pissed him off, and he floored it as he was going around that corner, and at the same time, he reached across me and he opened my car door. He was trying to push me out of the car. So I managed to get the car door shut. I had my seatbelt on, and I managed to get the door shut while he was trying to unbuckle me. And I got the door locked. And, you know, by this time I'm crying, I'm pleading, I'm apologizing, I'm begging. He finally started to slow down because by this point now we were almost to Proctorville, and he had, you know, he had achieved what he wanted. I submitted. I apologized. I was scared. You know, he wanted to dominate me. He wanted to overpower me, and he wanted to scare me. And that's what he did. That was one of the most scariest nights of my life. I mean, I damn near rolled out of a car onto Route 60. Anyway, by that time, I knew that I should go. But, you know, you feel like you're stuck. You feel like it's too late. And he would say, I just love you so much. That's why I act so crazy. And, you know, I would tell myself, he's broken. You know, his dad was a piece of shit. He saw his dad treat his mom exactly the same way. And if I just love him right, you know, he'll heal. And I thought that respect and kindness and care would calm the storm in him, and it just didn't. You know, silly me. You know, I will never make that mistake again. So if you're watching this with your heart in your throat because this sounds familiar, you know, take a breath. Go in and hold and out. You're not crazy. You are not the problem. And love is not supposed to hurt that way, okay? If this chapter has helped you name something, hit like so more people can see this. Subscribe if you want to hear the rest. And if you're ready to move on and read everything now, feel free to grab the book. The link is in the description. Now, from the other side, I can tell you that jealousy wasn't love. It was surveillance. It was a chokehold dressed up as devotion. If you have to make yourself smaller so someone else can feel safe, that is not love, okay? It's a cage. That is not love. And today, when someone asks me, you know, do you ever miss him? No, I do not. I do, however, miss the girl who thought she could fix a tornado by loving it harder. I do kind of miss that girl, but I don't do that anymore. I've learned my lesson. So my healing looks like this. I make eye contact with whomever I damn well please. I smile when I feel like smiling at whomever I feel like smiling at. I buy my own glasses and no one touches them but me. I go into stores and I take as long as I want to. I will walk through every single aisle if I want to. I don't run, but I wear tight leggings. I show a little cleavage sometimes because I'm allowed. I can. And I do not explain every second of my day to anyone. I do not justify my time. And, you know, when that old reflex rises up, you know, the urge to shrink and apologize and you know, to perform calm so someone else doesn't explode, that's when you have to get really grounded. You put a hand on your chest and say, listen, not anymore. You're safe now and you're free. Jealousy taught me something I didn't expect. My attention is mine. My body is mine. My time is mine. And anyone who can't handle that doesn't get access to me. This was chapter 4, jealousy. Next time I'm taking you deeper where jealousy starts to actually turn into punishment and rules become weapons. You'll see how isolation gets built brick by brick. If you're finding strength here, go ahead and like this video, subscribe so you don't miss chapter 5. And, you know, if you're ready to go ahead and hear the whole story, buy the book. The link is in the description. If, you know, if you need to hear this today, you're not too late, okay? You are not too much. You're not stuck. There are ways out. I believed I was stuck and I was wrong. You can choose you. I did, and I'm still choosing me every single